Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Patsy Reddy, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Sir David Gascoigne.
Ngā mana, ngā reo. Kau rangatira mā, koutou ko tatu mai rui te reo karanga, a te kāwana tianara, e nā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Te hōnore, te kororia, te maunga rongo ki runga ki te mata o te whenua. Te whāro pai ki ngā tangata katoa. Aro haena ngā teina me ngā tuakana, e noho nei, I runga I te whakaaro ko tahi ai mai.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. I ngā mana, I ngā reo, I ngā iwi o ngā hoe whā. Tēnei aku mihi mahana ki a koutou. Nau mai haere mai rā ki te whare kawana. Kia ora tātou katoa. I specifically acknowledge the Honourable Grant Robertson, Minister of the Crown, our kuia Mrs Turupawai Higgins, our kaumātua Mr Joe Harawera, tēnā koutou. And I have a very special welcome for our honours recipients today. It's a real pleasure to host this investiture ceremony for 7 honour recipients, their families and friends, and recognise the contributions they've made to our country. As Governor-General, I have the authority and privilege, on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of New Zealand, to hold an investiture for her and to confer the honours to which each recipient is entitled. An investiture ceremony is one of the most important duties I perform as Governor-General, so it's a very real pleasure to resume these ceremonies after the disruptions we've all experienced over the past few months. On these occasions, it's my privilege to bring together individuals who've made an exceptional contribution in their respective fields of endeavour. Some of you have a national public profile. Others are well known in your own communities. But what you have in common is the positive impact you've had on the economic, environmental, social and cultural well-being of our nation. This will be a memorable day for you and for your family and friends who've come to witness the investiture and celebrate with you. Ladies and gentlemen, as each recipient comes forward, I invite you to join me in thanking and congratulating them for their service to our country. Catriona McLeod will now read a citation for each recipient and invite them to come forward to receive their insignia.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a Companion of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr Roger Moses of Wellington for services to education. Roger Moses was headmaster of Wellington College for 23 years. Under his leadership, the school was a top performer in the New Zealand Scholarship Examinations. He was appointed acting rector of King's High School in Dunedin in 2019. He chaired the professional advisory group working alongside the Ministerial Advisory Group, providing advice to the Minister and the Ministry of Education on the NCEA review. He was involved with the New Zealand Council for Education Researchers project on boys' academic performance at single-sex schools. He's been a member of a working group investigating educational outcomes for young males in the New Zealand prison system. Mr. Moses was a member of the board of the International Boys' Schools Coalition and chairman of the Association of Boys' Schools New Zealand. Mr. Roger Moses, please come forward. Dr. Ted Ward of Napier for services to intensive care practice. Dr. Ted Ward founded the intensive care unit at Hawke's Bay Hospital and was director of anaesthesia and intensive care. He was one of the first intensive care specialists in regional New Zealand. He was involved in establishing a newborn intensive care unit in Hawke's Bay. He developed training for other staff and undertook design improvements to ICU equipment. He instigated patient retrieval services from other regional hospitals, bringing patients to the Hastings ICU, where he could assess and supervise their care. He was a founder member of the Australian and New Zealand Intensive Care Society and was chair of the New Zealand Regional Committee. He was an examiner for the Australian and New Zealand College of Anaesthetists. Dr. Ward was medical director for the local St John Ambulance. Dr. Ted Ward, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mrs. Amanda Mcintosh of Auckland for services to early childhood education. Amanda Mcintosh has been Centre President of Tamatea Play Centre, President of Hawke's Bay Play Centre Association, and a member of the National Executive. She helped establish the New Zealand Family Daycare Association, was ward delegate and national president of the association, wrote its first constitution, and sat on its executive council. She has been a founder member of the Napier Citizens Advice Bureau and a marriage guidance tutor. She helped form Family Care Hawke's Bay and worked for Barnardo's, setting up several services and projects. She was South Pacific delegate to the International Family Daycare Organization, attending 5 overseas conferences and organizing a conference in Wellington. Mrs. Mcintosh runs her own home-based education service, as well as a home-based early childhood participation project for refugees and migrants. Mrs. Amanda Mcintosh, please come forward. Ms. Susan Price of Wellington for services to literature and philanthropy. Susan Price is an historian, researcher, children's author, archivist, and book collector. She has donated her collection of 25,000 children's books to the National Library of New Zealand and donated Chevening, a restored block of flats built in 1929, to Heritage New Zealand, Pohere Taonga. She established the Susan Price Scholarship, awarded biannually to a Victoria University of Wellington postgraduate student. She's donated $20,000 to writer Kate de Goldie to research children's literature and has gifted thousands of books to children around the country. She selected books for the youth section of the Kippenberger Library at the Queen Elizabeth II Army Museum in Waihuru. She has compiled historical records of the Wellington suburbs of Brooklyn and Kelburn. Ms. Price was a trustee of the Randall Cottage Writers' Trust. Ms. Susan Price, please come forward. Mrs. Lindy Sainsbury of Auckland for services to philanthropy and the community. Lindy Sainsbury established the Museum Circle Foundation, which raised $3.3 million for the restoration of the Auckland War Memorial Museum. She was a founding trustee of the Auckland City Sculpture Trust. She helped establish the Sir Hugh Kauwharu Trust to inspire and encourage emerging Māori leaders. She's a founding member of Urban Auckland. She was a chair of trustees of the Liggins Institute, a research centre with a focus on maternal and postnatal health at the University of Auckland. She was the first woman trustee of the Edmiston Trust, which supports the development and acquisition of art in Auckland. Mrs. Sainsbury has had voluntary involvement with the Arthritis Foundation of New Zealand, the Auckland City Athletics Club, the Auckland Museum Institute Council, and the University of Auckland Foundation. Mrs. Lindy Sainsbury, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Ms. Gillian Vi of Wellington for services to music and music education. Gillian Vi is a past president of the New Zealand Composers Association and one of the country's leading piano teachers. She was co-founder and examiner for the New Zealand Music Examinations Board and teacher trainer for the New Zealand Suzuki Music Institute. She served on the National Council of the Institute of Registered Music Teachers and was an examiner for the Australian and the New Zealand Music Examination Boards. She founded the Champs Trust, offering Wellington students training in chamber music. She helped form the Sunrise Music Trust to commission, edit, and publish New Zealand music. Ms. Bibby's compositions include a series of works involving New Zealand birdsong. Ms. Gillian Bibby, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, Mr. Terry O'Neill of Oamaru for service to sports journalism. Terry O'Neill has worked in print media for 49 years with the Oamaru Mail and the Otago Daily Times. It has been a broadcaster since 1977 with Radio New Zealand, Radio Waitaki, Port FM, and more recently, Real 104 Radio. He was a North Otago first-class rugby representative rugby player. He's followed the North Otago representative team around New Zealand to provide commentary for more than 29 years. He has broadcast more than 370 games of secondary school and first-class heartland rugby. Mr. O'Neill supplied commentaries at Carisbrook with the introduction of Super Rugby. Mr. Terry O'Neill, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture is concluded.
Our honours system is our nation's highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces values and behaviours that sustain our communities and help our nation thrive and prosper. These include service, courage, manaakitanga, the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. By using their talents to make ours a better society, whether by service to their communities or by their leadership in diverse fields of endeavour, or their commitment to excellence in their own field of expertise, our recipients have set a fine example to others, encouraging them in their own endeavours. To the recipients, It's been a privilege to hear your stories today. You've demonstrated determination, commitment and compassion in your daily lives. In your own way, each of you has helped make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live. In some cases, your influence and the positive impact of your work has extended beyond our shores. Your actions and the stories we've heard reflect the spirit of the words of the philosopher Bertrand Russell when he said, a good world needs knowledge, kindliness and courage. On behalf of all New Zealanders, I thank you for using your knowledge, kindliness and courage to help make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place, whether by dedicating your lives to the public good, achieving distinction in your chosen field, or inspiring others with your leadership. Please wear your insignia with pride, knowing that your contributions are recognised and greatly valued, and others are inspired by your example. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that almost brings to an end the formal part of today's ceremony, but before we break, I'd ask you to stand and we'll sing the National Anthem.